Hello, my name is Francesca Sobrer. I used to be the director of the theater program at Bloomington High School North. I have been involved with Cardinal Stage since almost its inception. In its very first production of Our Town, 2 or 3 of my students were in that production. I have since gone on to perform in a few Cardinal shows, including Amanda in the Glass Menagerie last year. I love this book I'm about to read to you. It was one of my children's favorite books. And my daughter and I recently were talking about our favorite stories that I would read to them. And she sent me a copy of this book that was one of her favorites, called All Those Secrets of the World by Jane Yolen. Beautiful illustrations. My cousin Michael was 5 and I was 4 when my father went off to war. We were allowed to go down to the docks to see the big ship sail off. Daddy gave me 100 butterfly kisses and whirled me around and round. Then he hugged everyone once and Mama twice before going on board. Hundreds of grown-ups crowded around, waving handkerchiefs and crying. I got to hold a little flag. I waved it so hard the stick broke in 2. Mama tucked the flag into my pocket and warned me not to fuss. From somewhere on the ship, Daddy threw more kisses. At least that's what Grandma said. But even from my perch on Grandpa's shoulders, I couldn't find him. There was a band playing, over there, with a tuba making umpapas. Mama sang along. Umpapa, umpapa. Slowly, the ship moved away and the dock seemed to shake. Dirty waves slapped the posts. Grandpa bought us ice cream cones, chocolate with jimmies, and Grandma used her handkerchief to wipe our mouths and hands. Michael got lost in the crowd. We had to get a policeman to find him. But everyone had a good time, except Mama, who cried all the way home, and my baby brother Stevie, who slept through it all. The next morning, Mama didn't get up to make me breakfast, and Grandma said, "Hush, let her sleep." So Michael and I went down to the long beach that ran from Cocoton Road all the way to Newport News, where the waves lapped black and greasy onto the graying sand. We had been warned not to swim in the Chesapeake because it was so dirty with oil. But Michael said to take off our shoes and socks. Wading wasn't swimming, he said. They'd never know, he said. The water was cold, and we walked hand in hand. Look! I pointed at little specks moving on the horizon. Are those birds? Those are ships, Michael said, taking soldiers across the sea to war. I shook my head. Those couldn't be ships. My daddy went on a big ship. Those specks are no bigger than my thumb. And Michael smiled down at me and dropped my hand. I'll tell you a secret of the world, the kind you'll know when you're older. They only look small because they're so far away. Stay right here and watch. And he ran down the beach, leaving a trail of wet footprints. When he was far away, he called, "Am I small now, Janie?" I nodded, because he was no bigger than my hand. And he ran farther down the long beach. "Am I smaller now, Janie?" And he was the size of my little nail. Come back, I cried. Suddenly afraid he'd disappear forever, like the ships gone from the horizon, dropped over the edge of the world, where no policeman could ever find him. After we threaded our way home through the whispering sycamores, the grown-ups knew we had been in the bay. We had black greasy rings around our ankles, and my sunsuit was spotted and damp. Michael got a spanking because he was older. All I got was a long soaking in Grandma's lion paw tub. I sat there till the water was cold, and I was covered with bumps. We both got a story at bedtime. Once upon a time it began. Happily ever after, it ended. My cousin Michael was 7 and I was 6, and my baby brother Stevie just starting to talk when my father came home from the war. There were no big ships or waving flags, just a stranger in brown with his arm in a sling, unfolding himself from a cab. Everyone cried, except Mama. When Daddy tried to kiss her, Stevie yelled, "Go away, you bad man! Don't you touch my Mama!" So Daddy stopped kissing her and picked me up instead in his good arm. "You're so big, Janie," he said, "lots bigger than I remembered." His eyes were the blue of the sky above us, and there were deep creases at their edges. Throwing my arms around him, I spoke Michael's secret in his ear. "That's because you were so far away, Daddy. And when you were far away, everything is smaller. But now you are here, so I am big." "Of course," he said. I knew that. He gave me 100 butterfly kisses. We whirled around and around under the whispering sycamores until neither one of us could tell big from little, young from old, short from long, peace from war, all those secrets of the world. One of the things that I used to do with my children when we were little is I would pack up a jar of water and bring out some watercolors. And we would go to a stream or to a part of the woods, and we would do watercolors. And if you looked at the pictures in this book, they're beautiful, beautiful watercolors. So maybe that's something that you can do with your parents, is go out and color your own picture of the world.